Hey everybody and welcome to Talk Chain, the podcast where we get into all things crypto and all things bloodbath. My name is Matt and reunited again with Rob. How you doing today, buddy?
Not great. Not great.
So,
Yourself?
I'm okay. What a wild day for everything. Equities, crypto. It's an amazing time to be alive. So, today I think we're just going to go off the cuff and talk about continued red in the crypto market. I want to talk a little bit about equities because I diversify into that, and I think all of you should as well, even though today might not have been the best day to be long. We'll get into that. And then we also want to talk about the cryptocurrency is the new locker room talk, says Bitcoin buying NFL star. So we'll touch on that a little bit. So total market cap, we are down to 333 billion, with Bitcoin making up a third of that. Pretty rough. Yesterday I was talking, I forget what I said. We were around 400 billion yesterday, and I talked about how that was the similar market cap to where we were at the beginning of December. And now we are into November, and we've made a lower low in terms of the continuation of the bearish pattern. And yeah, it doesn't look good from here.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. It's tough because again, there's not necessarily any reason behind any of it. So if it's really just a correction, then it's probably good in the long run because it's getting rid of a lot of the hype and a lot of the people who kind of jumped into it just to make some quick money. So it's probably better in the long run. That's what I'm telling myself actually,
Yeah.
as I lose lots and lots of money.
Well, the way I kind of look at it is it's definitely shaking off the weak hands. So anybody who had no conviction in crypto is definitely sold by now or is very much considering selling. And I have a lot of friends now who are asking me, is there any price that you would sell Bitcoin at? And it's a great question that we should all really be asking ourselves because, it could go down to $1,000. And I mean, would you sell at that point? Is it worth selling at that point? How do you think of that, Rob?
No, it's not worth selling at that point because it's where's it going to go from there? Like
But
there's
yeah, if you so that's the thing. Is it gonna go? But if it stays at $1,000 for the rest of time, that money might be better spent somewhere else, put into some other market to make a return on.
right. And it's tough because you're really just going to say that Bitcoin is at that price, but there's significant use cases for a number of the other, whether they're coins or tokens, assets, whatever you want to call them. They are going to be used in the real world. So it's not the greatest to say Bitcoin as a currency, but like all of crypto as a whole, like there's no way to exit. There's no reason to exit entirely.
Yeah. So I agree with you, and I kind of think of it the same way, is that this technology exists now, and it's really about figuring out how it can be used, right? And
Exactly.
there's some sort of value to it. Who knows what that number is? Is it 335 billion? I don't know. In the long run, this kind of stuff, as it gets more adopted, and we can see day to day that the adoption does get better and better and higher the longer we get into this. And it's really just the market and the people who are willing to buy and sell on a whim, which is, I think, what we're seeing now. Those are the people who are sort of dictating the snapshot of what the market value is.
Yeah, it makes it difficult because those people aren't necessarily doing the research. Like, I don't know if you asked a number of Ethereum holders what Ethereum is and what it does and what its purpose is, they'd be able to answer the question necessarily. So it's more they just kind of got involved because it's on Coinbase and it's like right up there with Bitcoin. But the thing about Bitcoin, this is why I don't care about Bitcoin, and I never have really since it started. It's because it is a digital currency, and it's really just worth what a number of people say it's worth at any given time.
Hmm.
But people aren't necessarily using it. So that's really been my the reason that I haven't cared or invested in it at all. And that's why I'm headed more towards platforms and other use case
Hmm.
tokens.
Yeah, sure. I don't know if you can make a case that Bitcoin isn't being used. You can actually look at the number of transactions that go on, and it's substantial. Now, whether or not there's just people trading on the network, I don't know, and whether or not it's people actually using it as to buy things, that's definitely not as well adopted as we want. But there's definitely transactions going on in the Bitcoin network. Um, but I think your point, correct me if I'm wrong, is that other coins besides Bitcoin might overtake its spot unless Bitcoin becomes much more adopted.
Well, yeah, there's a couple aspects to it. So, not necessarily overtake its spot with regards to market cap, but with there is some use case arguments for better currencies.
Hmm.
But I mean, Ethereum is being used constantly, all the time. It has to be used. Um, Neo, it's going to be the same thing, and it's only going to get more important for things like for all of the ICOs that are going to happen on Neo. So you're just seeing them being used all the time
Hmm.
versus Bitcoin. Like I've never bought anything with Bitcoin. Have you ever bought anything with Bitcoin?
No.
Yeah, so and that's kind of where you're seeing it, and you're seeing it as people are more calling it a store of value now than are actually using it. So
But
that's why I'm not really sold completely.
so I mean, I would push back on that. And like the ICOs that are on Ethereum, I mean, how much value do they have right now? Like the network's being used by these ICOs that most don't have a product.
Right. No, and yeah, I guess I can see that. But there are going to be some with or that are actually being used, whether or not like if Walton is an ERC20 token,
Hmm.
then
Yeah.
the products that they make with the RFID are going to be used, and the contracts that they get will only kind of further that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that's why I see a lot more upside for for Ethereum and Neo than I do for Bitcoin. But Bitcoin is still, I I don't want to give people the impression that Bitcoin isn't the head honcho because it really is. It's got the most number of trading pairs that exist with it. And in terms of adoption, you and I might not have used it, but I know there's definitely a lot more opportunity to use Bitcoin for to buy things than any other coin that exists right now. So, and that's
Definitely. And I
so
think if I go to a number of like small businesses, I'm sure I could say, "Can I send you some Bitcoin?" And they'd probably take it.
yeah. So
Um,
it
yeah, but
for
it's more just waiting for a significant amount of adoption to happen to justify the value of where it is.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We don't know what that value is, and nobody does.
Mhm.
And I talked about
Right.
fundamental analysis yesterday, so definitely go check out my video yesterday that I did on the big Super Bowl Sunday, where I talk about how we can, think about valuing these different cryptos. So I want to move over to equity. So the market just closed about half an hour ago, and oh my God, gigantic bloodbath in the U.S. equities. So the Dow Jones down 4.5%, S&P 500 down 4%, and this is interesting because equities has been the top place to put your money for gains in 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 kind of the like besides crypto, something that was less volatile. The least volatile for the biggest return was equities, and today we saw one of the biggest pullbacks in the market that we've seen in I think about a year. So given that equities may no longer be um, a good source to put your money in for returns, I would think that this would be an interesting opportunity for crypto to see money flow into that, but we have definitely not seen that today. So I think it's just interesting and something to keep your eye on. That if equities continue to tumble, investors are going to look to put their money elsewhere.
Well, Yeah, I guess how I would play devil's advocate would be to say if people are seeing their investments kind of pull back, I think it would make them less likely to kind of freewheel into something that is a little bit more speculative. Even though like tradition, like over time, it's come with a significant amount of profit in crypto. There's still a significant amount of risk involved with putting money in, and if when money is disappearing, people don't want to take more risk.
Yeah, but I think the if we get into a bear market in equities, I think the amount of risk that you see in equities versus crypto, that's no longer as different as it was when we were in a perma bull market in the equities. So I think it's a different environment that we get into, and I don't know how it would change things because we've only had like this bull market that we've had in equities has been going on since crypto existed. So we've never really experienced what the crypto market is like when equities are in a bear market. And people have been speculating, but we'll actually get to see that firsthand if the US stock market and the world, I guess, starts to get into bear territory.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, especially if there is some sort of event that happens that causes a significant correction. Because I do think that that would kind of scare the market, and traditionally Bitcoin has kind of gone with the opposite of world events. Like with Brexit, it went up
Hmm.
with, and it was created based on the crash of 2008. So it's you kind of see like a pattern of significant events and Bitcoin and all of crypto kind of increasing.
But then again, Brexit led to an increase in, well, eventually an increase in the stock market too.
Just well,
There was like
it's
a
hard
there
to
was
know
like a
versus if it would have just went back to its the pattern that it was going to be on.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, we're in sort of uncharted territory when it comes to this, but let's get into this article about locker room talk and the NFL. And it's nice to see locker room talk not involving what the president would say, grabbing people by the.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's interesting to see. So Richard Sherman, who is a cornerback for the Seattle Seahawks, four-time Pro Bowler, he he has become heavily interested in crypto. By the sounds of things, through this article, it doesn't look like a lot of NFL players have a lot of financial education background. So it's interesting for them to get to know finances as a whole, but seeing him kind of lead the way on getting involved with Bitcoin and Ethereum. He's got a sponsorship with the Robinhood exchange, which which is interesting. I know that Robinhood is fairly new and they're trying to work out some kinks, but just seeing that, and you'll see, I guess, as he does better, and you're gonna see the conversation kind of grow in the locker room and throughout different teams because these guys have a significant amount of excess money and incredibly short careers.
Hmm.
So, despite the fact that he's a four-time Pro Bowler, the average NFL career is only 4 years. So, they want to make the most out of the short opportunity that they have
Hmm.
with their money and to make sound decisions with their money. So, it's interesting to see them decide to get involved in the crypto space.
Yeah, yeah, and it's funny because yeah, so like they're gonna have a ton of money when they retire, and they're gonna want to create an opportunity for them to make as much money with that money as possible. And it's funny because yeah, like they just want somebody to put their money away somewhere and have it, you know, 10x by the time like they get to middle age or whatever. So I don't think they really care. They just want to see where there's a possibility for investment and to make some money. So it's funny to see them getting interested in crypto and seeing that as a viable opportunity. And this is just another use case for how the crypto keeps like spreading and keeps infiltrating different ideas for people to try and make money.
Yeah, it's interesting too because Sherman himself accepted Bitcoin in 2014, so he must be
Hmm.
doing pretty well for himself um, for any like merchandise sales. I don't know what kind of merchandise sales he's getting for himself, but if anyone did actually buy some, then he must be doing at least as well as 50 Cent is doing with his album sales.
Yeah, really. Oh, it's so crazy that you just sort of forget about Bitcoin and then you find a wallet and see how much you have.
Well, I think that's kind of how a lot of people have done pretty well because there's different points where people would be will have considered selling or will have sold.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like when Bitcoin hit 1,000, people that bought in 2010 might think that that's it and kind of get out.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of luck is involved with a lot of that.
Yeah, big time. And I think people now that people saw how it was possible with Bitcoin, it's really like finding the next Bitcoin. And I know a lot of people made a lot of money on Nano or when it was Ryblox, when you could buy it like 30 cents and it went 10x, actually 100x at one point. And yeah, people made a lot of money off that. And that was, that was in the span of, I think, November 2017 until January.
That's crazy. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and if these NFL superstars like they do well and they start talking to each other, just like how you would talk to me if you did well in any given coin, then it's likely to spread throughout the locker rooms, and it would just kind of keep going up um, as time goes on. And really, the more people involved, I think, the better.
Yeah, I think so too, especially when it comes to the technological aspects of the coins. I mean, it's good that people are investing in them, so there's opportunity for money involved, but also adoption of the tech. But anyway, so I think overall, gonna keep watching this dip. I'm still waiting for my Coinbase transfer. Otherwise, I would have bought multiple times during this downfall. Yesterday, I was talking about Bitcoin hovering around 7,600, and I have that line where it busted right through that and went downwards. So, gonna keep watching and seeing. I'm gonna buy, I think, more Ethereum and Neo than I am Bitcoin, but definitely gonna continue to add to my positions that I have currently.
Yeah, it's the best time to do it. Everyone's kind of running away from it, so really the Coinbase taking forever is really the best thing that's ever happened to you
Yeah,
because I bought now probably 5 or 6 days ago, and it's only
really.
come down, and that's only because of the quick transaction. So it's
Yeah.
really worked out well for you.
Well,
Terrible for me. Terrible
yeah.
for me.
I mean, luck is involved in this game, but you know, I would have definitely bought multiple times on this drawdown. And just to note that the volume on today's candle is pretty substantial. So I don't think that this is the bottom, and I think we might still see some downside from here. So, I'm gonna buy as soon as my money gets transferred over, and go from there. We'll deal with it tomorrow, right, Rob?
Definitely. Well, I'll give you an update and tell you how it went.
Yeah, so thanks everybody for watching, and if you like what we're doing, please subscribe or like on YouTube, and leave us a comment. Let us know what you think about this downtrend. It's becoming a broken record hearing us talk about the downtrend, but let us know what you think, and let us know what you think about the NFL. I guess football's over now, so got to
Nothing
talk
better
about
to do
something.
but to watch crypto videos.
Yeah, seriously. And follow us on Twitter at TalkChainPod. And yeah, let us know what you think of our new logo. Just updated that. So, let us know if you like that. So with that, we're going to wrap it up. Anything else, Rob?
Share, Facebook, Reddit, Steam, anywhere you want.
All right. Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Thanks. Bye.